In this week's episode, we talk about the new animation from DC and Warner Brothers, Justice Society.
Yes, we also talk about Netflix Shadowbound and other TV shows and pop culture news.
All right, let's talk about Justice Society, World War II.
Yes, the new DC animation of the, call it Justice League, Justice Society. It has a bit of both. And it's about Justice Society, so let's go into spoiler alert mode.
Okay, so the Justice Society, this goes back to, what, the Golden Age?
For
comics?
Silver? That's golden.
Silver?
No, that's golden.
Yeah. So, and it's kind of, it feels like a kind of a rough draft of the Justice League, although they were pretty fantastic in their own right. So it's not really fair to call them a rough draft. Anyway, we have heroes like Wonder Woman was part of it, but also like an early version of Green Lantern. We have Hourman, and actually a lot of the heroes that we see referenced in Stargirl.
Yes. Yeah, on this movie, for me, it was a surprise. I thought it was a full-on Justice Society movie. Justice Society of America, JSA movie. And, of course, with some curious things on the poster and trailer. I mean, did I see the trailer? Maybe I did. And maybe I did a while ago. But on the poster, on the news, that we saw Wonder Woman there. That was a surprise. Black Canary there, too. Because the original Justice Society... was the character she mentioned, the Flash.
Oh, the Flash, Jay Garrick,
the original Flash.
The helmet.
Doctor Strange.
No, Dr. Fate.
Dr. Fate. In Portuguese they call it the same.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not confusing.
I mean, I think one is Doctor Doom. DC Doctor Doom and Marvel Doctor
No,
Doom.
not the other Doctor Doom, but Doctor Doom,
Dr.
Doctor Doom.
Fate and Doom is the same. That's what. Anyways.
Okay, I can see that.
So, who I'm missing? Alan Scott, the original Gay Lantern. I mean Green Lantern. Because DC changed him. Anyways, who else?
Hawkman.
Hawkman.
Yeah.
The girls.
That's a big one.
I guess that was no.
That's pretty much just Black Canary.
Girls. No, not Black Canary.
Oh, she's not.
She wasn't
one of
there. Yeah, I don't think
so.
so.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, but Wonder Woman is there, so there's this is a curious thing right at the back that we see on this one. But then the movie starts in present day with Barry Allen Flash talking to Wires, soon to be West Allen. And I was like, what's going on? And then they're in Metropolis and getaway weekend sort of, and then where's Superman? And it doesn't seem like they know each other, and we eventually find out that they don't know each other. And but Superman shows up, find Brainiac, and the Flash is gonna go help, and then Flash goes so fast as he does, and go poof, jumps into time.
Yeah. Well, he runs fast, and as he's like going faster and faster, he grabs a piece of kryptonite, and I think that was part of it.
No,
you think
he doesn't touch it?
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can check. No, he goes so fast that he. Yeah, we should check, but I'm pretty sure he didn't touch it. It was just about the speed, because the kryptonite. It's not Batwoman. Kryptonite doesn't do anything to anyone else but Superman.
But Kryptonians.
All Kryptonians.
Yeah,
yes,
fair enough.
But
either way.
So he goes back in time, and then he meets the Justice Society, which I thought was really cool. It's always nice to connect the DC universe as the Marvel universe and other comic or other narrative universes. And I thought it was a nice way to introduce to new audiences Justice Society, as they were introduced to the main character, to Flash, Barry Allen. So we were with Barry Allen through his journey on learning what was going on, traveling to time.
Yeah, so he ends up in France in 1943. So the Nazis have invaded, they're occupying, and he finds himself with this group of superheroes, the Justice Society, and they call themselves metahumans. And it turns out they're kind of a top secret they've got like a top secret military unit, so nobody knows about them except the people that they're working with and the people they're saving. They've got this journalist with them, they call him Shakespeare, and he kind of spins all the stories. So, instead of Hawkman flying around taking out the German warplanes, it's, some new government prototype or things like that. So they're working kind of underground, behind the scenes, saving the French, making inroads for the Allies, and things like that. And the Flash shows up, and they're like, well, who are you? And they decide to call him Future Boy. And
because they have another Flash.
They do, yeah.
Also, he figures out, like, right away that he's from the future, and then he tells them, I'm from the future.
Yeah, and so they got to figure out, like, what do we do with you? But and he's like, what do I do? But then they decide, well, whatever happens, there's this horrible war going on. So he kind of helps them for a while he tries to figure out what's happened and how he gets back to his own time. And it's like most other Warner Brother animations where there's a really great balance with, a little goofy comedy, but also like the seriousness, the drama. We have the relationship between Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor, who is their kind of liaison with the army, and he proposes to Diana every day, and every day she says no, but keep asking. And anyway, so lots of good story elements going on.
Yeah. So as you said, it's well written, is well paced. The animation is I would say different than in some of this style of animation, but it's cool. It's I liked it. Yeah, and in the end they have this to fight the Nazis. They fight the Nazis, and then it gets a little bit more complicated because the Nazis hypnotize sort of Aquaman and Atlantis, and then the Nazis have they were super powerful. Now they have even more power, but the League or the Justice Society get together and fight them with the help of one Superman that wasn't Superman because Flash figures out he actually didn't travel in time. This is actually another Earth. And on this Earth, a lot of things happen differently, including that Martha Kent and Jonathan Kent, they adopted Clark Kal-El Superman. They died when he was really young.
Like 3 or something.
Yeah, and he was sent to an orphanage. So at the orphanage, he didn't get quite the values that he got from Martha and Jonathan, so being the good person that he was, the great character that he creates from their family that taught him selflessness and help others and stuff like that. So going to the orphanage, he doesn't get those values, and he got to the selfish side of the human spectrum, and that's revealed that even though he has superpowers, he never gets involved. He doesn't help anyone. Yeah. But
he's kind of involved. We find out he's Shakespeare. He's the journalist who's embedded. With them, so he's doing his thing, but he's not using his powers to help the way that our Clark.
Very, very, very minimum, Yeah. But meeting the Justice Society, and most especially when Barry Allen comes and meet them, and it's like, you're Superman, you should do this. You're great values, justice.
Truth, justice,
American way. And
Diana tells him too, if you're not, I don't remember if it's Diana or if it's Dinah, but one of them says, if you're not helping, you're just as bad as the Nazis.
Yeah. So he leaves them, but then later he realizes that you know what, and then he joins them and they fight the bad guys. They win, and they figure out a way to send Barry back. And then Barry comes back and meets Superman again and tells Iris, "Hey, I was out for a week."
Yeah, I know it's a second for you, but I was on another Earth for a week.
Yeah.
Fighting Nazis and giant sea monsters.
Yeah, so he gets together with Iris, and then he then proposes because he wasn't planning on. He wanted to keep her secret, to keep her safe, but he learned from Diana that you shouldn't do that because you never know what's gonna happen tomorrow. Yeah. And Diana lost.
She lost
Steve tragically. So he right away he proposes to Iris using the same ring that Steve used to propose to Diana every day until the day he dies. So yeah, it was pretty fun. It was pretty nice. It wasn't a big surprise. It would be fun or nice. DC does a spectacular job with its animations, and this one wasn't different. And they kept it tight and they kept it beginning, middle, and end. Very well done for fans and for people that never watched it. So yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think you would need a lot of like backstory or anything to get into,
even characters like Jay and what's his bucket? I can't remember. The Iron Man.
Yeah.
They have like a little explanation when Barry arrives, but they also have a brief explanation in the beginning when President Roosevelt is like recruiting this team.
Yeah, or no, someone's pitching it to President Roosevelt. Like, we put this together. And, so it's really well done. Like you said, no surprise. It was very moving. It was enjoyable. Solid action, which a superhero movie should have. Yeah. If at all possible. And, definitely recommend it. So, Justice Society, World War II. It's
available everywhere for, Blu-ray 4K and also on Vudu, Fandango, the place you can buy streaming titles.
Yeah. All right. What else have we watched this week?
Okay, we finished the first season of Shadow and Bone, the Netflix show based on the books of Leigh Bardugo. Bardugo, I think that's how you say. Fantasy on this fictitious. That's not Earth, right?
Yeah, no, it all seems made up.
Nothing.
Like, heavily
magic,
Eastern European inspired.
Yes.
And definitely plays off of like, our own like myths and things like that. But
they do have similar technology. But it's Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, like Middle Earth is not Earth, but it is. Anyways, so this new Netflix show with Ben Barnes and
Jessie May
Leigh and some others.
Yes.
And so we finished the first season, and it was quite entertaining. It was really good.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought there was very successful world building, like the universe they were in was very interesting. This whole dynamic between there's this war going on, and then there's the fold, this like darkness and shadow inhabited by monsters that causes tension. We've got there's a king and the palace, and then the Grisha, these people with these kids like born with powers, and so that whole thing is very interesting. And then there are definitely a lot of tropes, like the young woman who suddenly finds that she has powers and through no fault of her own suddenly becomes this beloved hero and is whisked away to a castle. Yes, a saint. She's torn between the best friend brother who's been there for her entire life, who's just like part of her soul, but then she's also like into this other guy who is maybe a bad guy but maybe not, and so lots of tropes like that.
But he wears black and talks soft.
We'll let it slide. Yeah. We also have poor Ben Barnes. This is the second time he's been cast as a guy who presents as a good guy. We find out he's a bad guy, and he ends the season with his beautiful face horribly scarred. So it's kind of typecasting for him. But again, they did it so well, and it's so interesting, and the story's so captivating. I'm here for it.
Yeah, no, it was good, and it was even though you mentioned tropes, and I could see some characters, like at the end I was like, there's a group of characters that live on the other side of the fold, and they go to the other side of the fold to kidnap Leigh's character, Arlena Starkov, because she's important and people are paying money for her. So this guy's like, okay, let's go make some money. So the guy, what do you call when you he collateral his club to recruit this assassin, sort of a prostitute friend, and rescue her. So he collateral his club to get her out of her debts as a prostitute, and take her and another guy to the other side to go kidnap, save the princess. And you can clearly see like Han Solo there for the money, with his partner. There is a mix of Chewie and Lando, and a princess together, which it only means it's good because they copy from something great. But you see stuff like that all the time, and you see a lot from the X-Men because they have this whole race of powerful people that have superpowers. They call the Grisha. And some deal with fire, some deal with
there are healers, wind and wind, fire,
heart.
Healers. There's the Heartrenders who can manipulate heartbeats.
There's the Darkling that controls shadow.
Yeah.
And the big premise of the show, that's right at the beginning, they found this mythological, this legendary, nobody's seen, but everybody is hoping, and I don't know why everybody's hoping if they never seen. They hoping and waiting for this sun summoner.
Yeah.
And this girl, when they cross in the fold to the other side, they are attacked by monsters because the darkness is full of creatures. Anyways, they explain why the fold is created and why those monsters exist. But when they crossing, they are attacked, and then this girl starts shining bright, and her light is so big that illuminates the whole place and scare the monsters away. So they found the Sun Summoner, and that's how the show started up around this girl that can summon light.
You could say that she is a girl on fire.
Yes.
Also, and she's taken away to a capital where she's doted on and given luxuries. And a tailor who comes and gives her makeovers and all the rest. And
sure, for that one we cannot. I personally cannot say if this came before or after Hunger Games. But there's a lot. There's a lot of. You sure it was after?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
That guy had a girl. Actually, is a woman. She has a lot of books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna double check because I shouldn't make assumptions.
Put on Wikipedia Leigh Bardugo, and you can see this one I think is a trilogy, and then there's a duology, and there's four more something like that. Anyways, there's a lot of the Phoenix Force too from the X-Men,
Yeah.
Saving, the blink of death. She's gonna save the day because she's possessed by this incredible power. In this case, she's not possessed. She had the power all along.
Yeah, this one was published in 2013.
Yeah, and again, Hunger Games?
Way before that. It was when I was in college.
I don't know. I only get to know Hunger Games once the first movie came out. Okay, so Shadow and Bone is really good, entertaining. Yeah. We hope Netflix, and I'm pretty sure they will come with a new season. Because even though a lot of things were solved at the end, there's still a lot to deal with, and there's a series of books that can do more. Yeah, and
it's a great first chapter in a trilogy because everything ended okay, we had a nice satisfying end, but we were given okay, everything's fine now, but we can see that something much bigger and much worse is coming. So it's a lot like the end of A New Hope. Everything, we destroyed the Death Star, but Vader and the Empire are still out there.
And even though there's a lot more to know about the whole place. There's all the countries, all the races, and the conflicts between them. And but hopefully they will make another one. And once they announced the first season, they said it would be Netflix's Game of Thrones. It does have a similar vibe. It definitely, if you going to watch, if you're hoping for see boobs and butts and naked people, there's
not what they meant.
There's nothing. It's nothing like Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
It's actually.
I would have felt entirely comfortable watching this with my parents.
They have those advisors like rated whatever, and there's like violence, nudity, and I can't remember what the other one. For this one, they do have it, but there's not really much.
There's very little. I think you might see like a butt at one point, but yeah, it's very little. I would say it's mostly for the violence and then just the thematic type things.
Language, of course, that's the other one.
So it's not like super family friendly.
Yeah, but it's definitely not. It's not HBO. The standard of HBO. That's like one episode.
Everything's out.
And sometimes on HBO is like on shows like this episode. There's not totally sexual as a show like Game of Thrones. There's like a plot, there's like characters, there's a lot to go with, like fights, there's a lot to go through it. But there's an episode that coincidentally everybody had sex in that episode. That's it's like the characters on this side of the counter, the characters on the other side of the wall. This character's on the but no, this one is definitely I could say, because I never read Game of Thrones, but I assume that what HBO did with the whole nudity is an HBO. I'm not sure if they're same in their books. A lot in the book. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that their books are pretty explicit as well.
Okay, so never mind. Because I would say maybe this one is faithful to the book.
But again, that's hearsay.
Yeah. Okay. But anyways, great show, Shadow and Bone. It's on Netflix available. I'm pretty sure it's been successful because it's really good.
I'm hoping for some cosplay from this one when we finally get back to conventions
they
year.
have really good material for cosplayers.
And I think this is where some of the comparison with Game of Thrones is accurate. Like they really invested in like the props, the costume, the design, and all that stuff. There's a lot of good opportunity. Yeah. And since we go to conventions at least once a year, and so now when I watch shows, I'm like, oh, please let somebody do this. Oh, definitely. I want to see somebody do this. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed.
The girl assassin ninja.
Yeah.
She's Arabic.
Inej, yeah.
She's Arabic. She's brown, and she has like the thing in the eyes that they do. Like the darkened eyes. But she wears like this kind of ninja leather style, like almost like Assassin's Creed kind of like. She uses knives. She uses knives. That's
she's always pulling knives out of like everywhere. Her hair. She's cool. She's actually a really great character.
And then there's Cass that wears a cane. And it's
like cane fedora and like a big duster.
Steampunky kind of like his friend. I can't remember his name. And then on the other side we have the beautiful what's they call that, jackets?
They call them kaftas, like heavily Russian inspired, but like pre-revolution Russia. So there's like heavy like embroidery and ornate hair pieces and jewelry.
That's not only pretty, it's bulletproof and stuff.
Yeah. It's like very functional, but like the embroidery alone, I was like, oh my gosh. So.
And of course the Darkling. The soldiers, everything is beautifully done. Everything is, and the whole Russian influence is like it's not only on the clothes, but you see the alphabet on posters and stuff is very, very Russian, and then goes from Russian to Ottoman Empire with the saints. We see saints and paintings.
Yeah, very Eastern Orthodox. Yeah, with all that. So. So there's a lot of stuff that, like, some tropes we've seen before, but they're awesome tropes, so who cares? Yeah. And the stuff that's new, they're doing it so well and so beautifully, it's just a lot of fun to watch. Yeah. So, definitely check it out.
Shadow and Bone is on Netflix. The first season, as Netflix does, the entire first season is there from day one, and then you can check anytime.
It is highly bingeable, so enjoy yourself. Okay, let's head back over to DC.
Yeah, and, what's going on, Gigi?
Well, we talked about the Justice Society, so now let's go to the other side, the dark side. They announced an Injustice animation.
Yes, they did announce an Injustice animation based on the the video game series. So far, there's 2 games, and it became a comic book series because if you play the game, there's an action that takes place on present day, and then it jumps into 5 years. What happens is the League is trying to stop the Joker to blow up. I think it's 5 bombs in Metropolis. I don't remember the details. I have to go back.
Classic Joker.
During that process, the League kind of saves the day, and Flash, and there's a lot going on. They end up, going to a different Earth. Yeah, I think it's a different Earth. It's not a different timeline. I think it's a different Earth. I would have to go back. And on this Earth, Superman is a tyrant that ruled the world.
Okay, I remember.
And on this Earth, the same situation happened. That's why I don't remember if it's Earth or timeline. During the explosion thing that the Joker did, he put something on Superman's head, and he's fighting Doomsday. And then he takes Doomsday to space, and they start fighting, and then Doomsday starts to losing air and dies. But then Superman wakes up and realizes that it wasn't Doomsday. The Joker did something to his head. He was actually doing that to Lois Lane. So Superman kills Lois Lane, and that starts him in the process to become a tyrant to Earth. He kills the Joker right away, and some follow him as he starts to run the world with his Man of Steel fist. And it's a pretty interesting those between he killing Lois and killing the Joker and the game. It takes 5 years, and DC released 5 years worth of comics. Really interesting going through the whole process.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's all on DC Universe. If you have DC Universe Infinity, they change the name if you have access to it. And the game is really cool. It's a Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter kind of game. So it's a fighting game, and you play with multiple characters from the Justice League and the DC Universe, as I said, and including villains too. Joker, Lex Luthor, Darkseid, I think is on it.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I think it's a special character. I don't think it's part of the story. But yeah, so this is gonna animate that to for the screens.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. That'll be neat to watch. That's not the only animation that they've announced. Both Batman and Superman are getting new animated series. The Superman one is going to be called My Adventures with Superman, and it focuses on Superman and Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen. And then,
Jimmy too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or at least that's what the spiel says. We'll see how much he actually features.
I thought it was full on Lois and him, like
Me too,
shows.
but I think they're throwing in. Well, anyway, the blurb I read said that Jimmy will be there too, and
I mean, definitely will be there, but
they've got him with the main characters anyway.
I mean, Jimmy is in a classic Superman books. Jimmy is
he is right there.
Best friend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The whole watch was, Superman gave it to him. They expanded to other people. But yeah.
So Jack Quaid is slated to be Superman, to voice Superman, and then Alice Leigh, who is the sister-in-law on Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, the one who's a lawyer and then just had a baby.
Okay.
So we've seen her there. She's going to be voicing Lois Lane.
Okay.
So that's what we've got lined up for Superman. Tell us more about Batman, Caped Crusader.
Caped Crusader. Both shows are going to be for HBO, right?
Yes.
And Batman's going to get a new show called Batman the Caped Crusader with Batman.
Oh, yes. Does he wear a cape?
And you as a cape.
Does he crusade?
He crusades through Gotham, his city.
Oh, yes.
He's the knight.
Yes. In every sense.
Is there more? I don't know.
Well, I thought this was cool. The EP, the executive producer, was Bruce Timm. He worked on the...
Oh, yeah. The Batman animated series that was huge.
So good.
Still, to this day, is very, very, very popular. It created some characters that were like so good that became canon. Right? Yeah. She was from a show, and then she crossed one of first cross media experiences. She crossed from something created from TV to the books, and from the books to more TV, and eventually to movies.
Yeah,
something that back in the day was unheard or impossible even.
I think just to illustrate just how good that animation was, I never watched it as a kid. I only started watching it as an adult, and even as an adult, it was great. I had so much fun with it.
It was good. Yeah. It was like, as a kid, it was like, I read the comics when they announced that. And then it was like the Batman animations before that, I remember, I don't know, maybe the Justice League animation. I think, I don't know what it was called here in Brazil, it's called Super Friends. It's like very, very using the characters, but towards kids, right? Because animations were towards kids, and the Batman animation was heavily inspired by the books, and Batman books are probably not for kids.
They are dark and they are heavy.
Yeah, so it was like, wow, this is good, and and that inspired a later Superman animated adventures, and that culminated with Justice League animations. That was terrific.
So good.
And
I think the moral of this episode is that DC animations are solid.
Yeah.
Almost always.
No, they're good. I cannot think of something that flawed. Like terrible.
I thought there was one we watched that I was like, that wasn't great.
What was that?
I can't remember.
That's because it was probably Marvel. It was probably Marvel. Probably Doctor Fate. Not Doctor Fate. Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
Or what's the other Marvel ones? Marvel was like 5 or 6 though.
Yeah.
It was so
it just never
bad.
Worked.
It's so bad that they never moved on.
Yeah. Which is fine. They're good at other things.
Yeah.
Anyways, while we're with DC and all this, WarnerMedia is merging / being bought. What's going on there with Discovery?
Yeah, they call it merger, but it's what happens is Discovery is buying 70-something% of the WarnerMedia equity from AT&T. So AT&T is still gonna have voice on the table because they're gonna have 20-something%. I can't remember the exact number.
Yeah.
But it's basically buying a big portion. Discovery's buying a big portion of WarnerMedia, and there's a lot going on there. There's like structural changes, and people are very hopeful that the Snyderverse is gonna be restored because
that would be
the people at Warner, the top suits at Warner that hated Snyder, gonna leave, including and starting with the president of WarnerMedia that was already trying to get a job on Netflix, but was like said, no thanks. So he's going whatever. I'm pretty sure he's be okay. As being president of the major studio, he's gonna be able to, even if he creates a company or he invests some of the big money he made. Anyways. For instance, one of the things that happened was the president of Discovery announced that it's like, they have a great catalog. We're gonna explore and use that, including in quote, he said, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. So there's good hope for the Trinity. And what better hope than keep doing what Snyder started. He's doing a great job, and maybe finish what he started and under his vision work on the DC universe that he started. Like Aquaman came from him, Wonder Woman movies, even Shazam was like, Superman was there. They were trying to connect and expand. And even though the plans of some of the Warner executives, they are leaving now, was to go into a different direction. They had the Joker, which different timeline, they could do that, but now they're gonna do a different Batman, and they're talking about a different Superman. But there's nothing concrete. But we know is that a lot of changes going on. Warner Media, Warner Studios, and
Do we know anything about how that's going to affect streaming? Because Discovery has its own streaming service.
No, that's a big one because
that's a big one.
It's fairly new, right? So we do have HBO Max, which is Warner's biggest one, and Discovery. I don't know. I doubt that they're gonna merge. They're probably gonna go for a route like Disney and Hulu, because Disney owns Hulu.
That's right.
But Hulu is still there, so they're probably gonna go keep those,
them.
or maybe do like Disney did, some sort of bundle. But yeah.
Whenever we talk about streaming bundles, I hear Obi-Wan in my head say, "You've become the very thing you swore to destroy."
Yeah.
Like we're right back to cable
bundles.
Yeah. Anyways. All right, that's not all that's happening with like mergers and purchases. It looks like Amazon is offering us trying to buy MGM for a whopping $10 billion.
Yeah.
That's a large number.
Yeah, I guess it would be good for everybody.
But it's a big catalog.
Amazon is already working on is heavy on the streaming side. On Amazon Prime is invested like billions, millions, not billions, on Lord of the Rings, and there's a lot more to come out. And it's like, okay, maybe, and they do produce a lot of movies that go to the theaters. We even saw some of those,
and they go to award shows.
Yes, so it's like, hey, let's buy MGM, and MGM
As
is,
one does.
Yeah, and MGM is it's a big one.
They are. They're one of like the OG studios.
And they own a lot of big characters. Like James Bond is coming.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And among other things, if they buy MGM, they're gonna have rights to James Bond, and hopefully by then everything's gonna be normal. But if not, they can release James Bond, like HBO did to Warner, same day as premiere. Yeah.
All right, we'll see. We shall see. All right, this week, was it this week? Well, recently, the Tim Allen's show, Last Man Standing, had its last stand, and it's over. Yes,
it had the finale again.
Yes,
because the show was canceled by ABC.
Yep.
But there's a lot of rumors about why it was canceled, because the show was extremely successful, had really good ratings on a Friday night, which is like that's
where shows go to die, right?
The show goes to die. When the show is moved to Friday, it's like, hey,
that's the signal.
It's the beginning of the weekend, and people was like done with work and gonna do other things. But it was very successful on Friday nights. So there's rumors that, and very heavily of rumors, like really close to the truth, not confirmed, but pretty much it, that once Disney bought ABC, was that it? No,
Disney's had ABC forever.
ABC forever. What was it? But it had to do with Disney. So Disney didn't like the show because it was heavily it is about a family, a patriarch family with conservative values, with a man that speak out about conservative values and against
explicit conservative values.
Yes, and it speaks against some liberal thoughts and some woke stuff, and so this is like enough, and they canceled. The show not the hype, the show doing very successful, but then Fox said it's like, no, we can take it, and then Disney bought Fox. But either way,
what a journey.
But either way, the show went on for 2 more seasons, I think
so.
And they finished, and they finished well, finished properly.
Yeah.
And I was reading stuff about behind the scenes, and everything was Tim Allen wrote the very final episode, and it was very emotional for everybody. They've been through this journey for a decade.
Yeah.
And the behind the scenes and on the scenes on the script, you see that the whole thing was about this lost truck, a metaphor for this lost
the lost show.
The lost show.
It was a clever plot device.
It was.
Well done, Mr. Allen.
Yeah.
We were just talking about how much the truck mean to them, and all the fond memories they have of this truck. And
I did rewatch it to see some of the stuff they said using the metaphor, and there's some pretty heavy ones, some pretty intense ones. Mr. Osati said, it's like, one thing I learned about life is don't get attached too much to a car or to a truck, because they come and go through life. And one thing I need to say about this, I had this rule to not get attached.
Yeah.
And one thing I have to say about this one is that I broke my rule. And
that one got me a little bit.
yeah, no, it was in the apex of that was when Caitley Dever character Eve calls the family to talk to say goodbye to the truck, and she says that it always remind me of Dad and the great time of my life that I had working with him, and I miss it forever and I treasure forever.
Yeah.
And she that started as a young girl in the show and grew up.
Yeah.
And moved on and is
it really launched her career. She's doing quite well.
Yes. And so it was really well done. It was really emotional. There's another line at the end that the wife is talking to Timm. Nancy Travis character is talking to Tim Allen's character, and it's like, so what you gonna do now? You gonna get another truck? You gonna try to work on another get a new truck? Fun fact, he had the same restoration process of a truck on his other show, Home Improvement. So it's like the metaphors expands there from having this show, but also it's like, what's gonna be next for you? And he says I don't know. What I know now is that I want to enjoy you. And then he goes and enjoy the family and ends, and that's it.
That's nice.
He's not done. Tim Allen's still working. He has a show. I think it's a Discovery with the guy that was all on Home Improvement.
Oh yeah.
And it's something Improvement. I can't remember the name.
Yeah.
It's a Home Improvement reality show competition, and they are the judges. So yeah, Tim, the two men, and all. So he's been going. I think his first season is over, maybe or close, so we're gonna get a second season. But Last Man Standing on network TV, it's over. It was nice ending.
It was well done. All right, so that's wrapping up. But thanks to streaming, these shows will always be there for you.
Yes.
As will Friends. We got an actual teaser now for the Friends reunion. Okay, and it's not going to be like an actual show. I was worried about that. I couldn't think how they'd like do an episode that wouldn't be just weird and dumb and cheesy. But it looks like it's going to be a reunion like the Survivor finale or something, where they get everybody together to tell stories and like revisit the sets, and it's more like an extended
fashion show with stuff from the show.
Yeah, so it's going to be more like
it seems an
interview discussion.
Maybe they're going to do some sort of scenes like, what happened with Phoebe and Joey, and we never seen before, so they do a scene somewhere.
Yeah, like a
maybe,
or something.
But it doesn't look like it's gonna be a revival type of episode or
which I think was a good call.
Yeah, because they end the show in a very definitive way. They moved out to the city. Everybody's like, Joey goes to Los Angeles, got his own show. Chandler marries Monica and moved to the burbs. Phoebe, who knows? I can't remember.
Phoebe did.
I think she got together with Paul Rudd and lived somewhere. I wonder her old apartment. Rachel and Ross. Yeah, having a break.
It's funny. There's actually an episode where Phoebe freaks out that she's the friend who will get left behind.
Yeah.
Because everybody else has like a pair, like some of their attachment to the group, and she's the wild card sort of. Yeah. Anyway, not important. Okay, so that's happening. We've also had. They finally revealed some vague, overarching details about the Indiana Jones 5 plot.
He's gonna fight Nazis.
Of course.
No surprise. Always good. But this time it's gonna be during the 60s space race times. So I guess the Nazis gonna try to come back and go to space?
I don't know.
Yeah.
As long as Harrison Ford is involved, I'll give it a chance.
We talked about Amazon. The Wheel of Time at Amazon got renewed for a second season, even before the first season started.
I feel like we would have seen that.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
The first season even premiered. The show Rosamund Pike got early renewed. Yeah, I guess it's a good thing.
Yeah, that's very promising. And those books have been kind of on my list, but from what I've heard, it's like it puts Game of Thrones to shame in terms of length and all that. Okay. So I could be wrong, but anyway.
But it has naked people spinning the wheel of time.
I can either
because Game of Thrones had brother and sister having sex on the top of their dead father. Was that it?
No, next to their dead son. Not
dead
on top
son.
of.
Dead
it was
son.
Next
it's even worse.
to their dead son,
yes.
And it was also kind of a rape.
Yeah, sure, but yeah.
Like
so.
Just to make it worse. Yeah. I don't know if that's really a selling point.
I'm not selling it. I'm just saying. I'm just saying that they're gonna have naked people spinning the wheel.
I don't know. I actually don't know really anything about this series. But anyway, moving on. In this time we live in of reboots and remakes, Hocus Pocus 2 is happening.
Yeah, Beth Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and
Kathy Najimy.
They Instagram announced that it's on.
Yep.
So yeah, soon on Disney Plus, Disney movie theaters. Yeah, Hocus Pocus 2.
I think they said it's 2022, right? Next year.
Sure.
I think it's next year.
Yeah, but it's
yeah. Okay, my personal favorite news of the week: Highlanders getting a reboot. But there can be only one, you say. But this time they've tapped Henry Cavill for the lead.
Yeah.
And
wait, that's all I know. Oh, we know a lot. Another big thing about it. It's gonna be directed by Chad Stahelski, the man behind John Wick. So it's gonna be intense because John Wick is intense.
Yeah. And Henry Cavill with a sword is intense.
And that sword's gonna be used very intensively.
Yes, it will be.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Okay, heads will fly. Lightning will strike. Okay, so apparently this highly qualified research institute called Office Furniture.
I mean, I don't know if they did or if they hired a company to do it.
Either way, Office Furniture Online published research suggesting...
That's from UK, just FYI.
Either way. Suggesting that viewers could save themselves 30 plus hours a year just by skipping the intros of their TV shows.
Yeah, I guess. Sure.
It seems like a lot of TV. We did a little math that may or may not be very good that suggests you would have to be watching 5 to 7 episodes of something every single day of the year in order to save that much time by skipping the intro. And I feel like if you're watching that many episodes of something a year,
that's
you maybe
relative.
have 30 hours to burn.
But that's relative because 5 episodes of The Office are not the same thing as 5 episodes of Game of Thrones.
This is true. That's why we give it a range, 5 to 7. We could maybe expand it to 5 to 8.
Because 5 episodes of The Office is 100 minutes is like less
100
than
seconds.
No.
Oh no, you should about the length. Yeah.
5 episodes of The Office is like more or less 100 minutes, which is like a little bit less than 2 hours.
Sure.
5 episodes of Game of Thrones is close to 6 hours.
True.
So,
but we're talking about intros here, which range in length from 20 seconds to a minute and a half.
Yeah.
My numbers that I crunched assumed an average length of 1 minute.
For me, when the intro is short, sure, fine. Sometimes it makes no sense. It takes longer to skip and into the short than to watch it. So because you're dealing with internet, so you skip it and then you're gonna jump, and it's not
and
organic.
then it's gonna buffer for a minute.
Yeah, sometimes it's gonna buffer, so I let it go. When it's longer, sometimes I watch first 2 or 3 episodes, and then at the end of the show, and I mean like last season of the show, I'm gonna watch it again to check. There's some clever shows that's like want you to watch and keep changing every season.
Sure.
Like Game of Thrones would change when the political geographical space of
I was gonna mention
Azeroth.
that one.
That's not Azeroth. What's it called?
Westeros. I was gonna mention that that was an intro that I would never skip.
Yeah.
Because first of all, just the quality. The music is so beautiful.
Yes,
but then
too.
also the maps. Like you learn a lot from watching.
Yes.
Those maps. It's important to the show. And also, if you're binging it, you just kind of need that minute and a half between episodes to like catch your breath and process. But then you're not watching.
You run into the bathroom or to the kitchen.
Well, that's true. But either way, I don't recommend skipping those credits. That intro. Those are important.
But yeah.
But yeah, some are worth watching, some aren't. Fringe, apparently they hid the little clues that I was never able to decode, but apparently there was like a code hidden in the images that they would use at the beginning of each episode.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Each? Mm-hmm. So each episode was different?
Yeah, well they put, like sometimes it would be like a butterfly or a hand, or there were like a handful of different images they would use, and apparently that was supposed to tell you something about the show.
Huh.
I never cracked the code. I never bothered Googling it, so it's probably out there. But anyway, sometimes the intro matters. Sometimes it's
I was in Brazil.
Saying, "Hey, this is coming on."
I was in Brazil back then. We didn't have Google then. No,
yes.
we had Google.
Yeah.
We didn't have electricity, but we had Google. I'm kidding. Well. So I guess that's it. That's all.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess that's it for this week. We see you next. It looks like I have. You see, it's like you're warm in my arm.
Yeah.
It looks like move. Because it's all black.
Yeah.
On the tiny screen.
Oh, I see. Oh well.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's it for this week. We come back next week with more pop culture news
and entertainment and all that other stuff.
Yeah, still no PlayStation 5, and it doesn't seem like it's gonna change anytime soon.
Yeah.
I keep checking stores, it's like out of stock. And
it's like not even in the news anymore.
Yeah, for me, I think it's ridiculous how they say, "Oh, it's selling more than any other console in history," and I don't know, maybe people are paying like 3 times the price. And but how you account that? You cannot count that.
Are they saying like the number of times it sold out? Because that's like
no. It's like the number of consoles sold.
Yeah.
It's more than any other console.
Maybe
ever.
retailers are pre-ordering or something.
I guess so. Maybe yeah.
I don't know.
Anyways.
Either way, we don't have one. That's all that matters.
Yeah. But yeah, we come back next week with more news. And may the force be with you.
Live long and prosper.
Bye.
Bye.